Welcome aboard the Just Help Out Mindset podcast, where your compassionate guide, Nicole Venegas, takes the helm. Brace yourselves for an immersive experience as we delve into the heart of crucial conversations. We're set to explore the intricacies of suicide prevention, navigate the landscape of mental health, and boldly shatter the stigma surrounding therapy. This isn't just a podcast, it's an odyssey of resilience and understanding. Join us on this transformative journey filled with stories, insights, and a collective mission to create a world that embraces the strength of empathy and helping others. Fasten your seatbelts. We're about to embark on a voyage towards a healthier, more compassionate existence.
Welcome, listeners. I'm your host, Nicole Venegas. This podcast is named after our nonprofit called the Just Help Out Foundation, which is located in Tampa, Florida, and was created from a pure tragedy. My brother died by suicide on May 3rd of 2022, and that horrific day will be forever etched in my brain. A few days before he did it, he said he was feeling hopeless, so our nonprofit organization helps anyone in the community who may be feeling hopeless. And everyone that we help in the community is called a Joey. So far, after being around for 1 year, we have been able to help almost 50 Joeys since our inception, from homelessness, hunger, domestic violence, and mental health. The purpose of this podcast is to explore mental health in its entirety and to let everyone know you are not alone. If you think you are the only one suffering from anxiety, depression, OCD, panic disorder, agoraphobia, I challenge you to think again. I am also a mental health professional and see clients daily who are strong and courageous, and they have decided to talk about their feelings and process unturned stones in their lives. I hope you will do the same with me here today.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Just Help Out Mindset podcast, where today we will be talking about an extremely important topic: burnout. We are here today in the studio. We are so lucky to have Dr. Brenna Squires here with us. She is a burnout coach and a wellness strategist, and she is dedicated to helping high-achieving professionals end burnout and revive all areas of their lives. For more than a decade, she has helped clients harness the power of their personal choice to improve their mental, emotional, and social health. Dr. Squires is passionate about empowering others to reduce stress and anxiety, improve their relationships, and improve their overall being. As the founder and CEO of Encourage and Empower Wellness, Dr. Squires provides courses, coaching, and training programs that focus on burnout, stress reduction, and relationships. She is passionate about helping professionals confidently get their needs met, strengthen their resilience to stressors, and thrive in an ever-changing world. Dr. Squires, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
My goodness. So stress, relationships, anxiety, these things are the biggest topics that I see when I'm with my clients, when I'm just out in public and everyday life. So I think when we talk about burnout, because sometimes people aren't really familiar with the definition, how would you describe burnout being different than stress?
So burnout is excessive and prolonged stress. It's not the day-to-day stress that you experience from running a little bit late or waking up late or doing something that is a little uncomfortable or frustrating. It's something that is excessive. The way that I like to explain it is the feeling of being done. You're just done. You're over it.
Yeah.
When you're feeling like you're done and you're over it more days than not, and you're not wanting to do the same things that you used to do more days than not, you're heading towards the path of burnout, or you're probably already burnt out.
Yeah, I've had that feeling before. In certain jobs, I just woke up in the morning and I was done. I didn't want to go. And our producer shared with us just before the show from Eagle Fly Media that he felt that way previously before as well. So this is a very common feeling, especially nowadays. I'm seeing that a lot in clients, and people are just done. So how can an individual recognize the signs of burnout?
So there's many different signs, and understanding that there's different aspects of it. It's mental, it's physical, it's emotional, it's relational. So some of the physical signs are you're starting to feel physically drained. You're fatigued longer than usual. So it's not just feeling tired after a workout. You are waking up feeling tired. You had a nice, or what you thought was a nice long sleep, and then you wake up feeling tired. You're tired midday, and you're just feeling overwhelming exhaustion without doing much work. And you may even feel like you have less energy than you used to. And then we have some mental signs. We start to experience mental fogginess. We start to experience more anxiety. We start to feel overwhelmed. Something that we used to do that was simple, that was the day-to-day tasks, we're now overwhelmed by those same day-to-day tasks. We look at things from that different lens, and that lens says, I can't handle this anymore. And when we start to look at things from the lens that I can't handle it anymore, you start to withdraw. So then you see that social aspect. You withdraw from other people, you isolate, you become irritable and frustrated more frequently. And so something that you may have been able to just brush off if someone had a joke, you can't. You're either super rude about it, or you're just not really handling it. Like I said, you're not handling it the same way that you used to. I've seen many people just snap, where they start to become very angry and aggressive, where they don't really have that much anger and aggression within them, but all of a sudden they can't handle that emotion, and it just comes out as anger, and it comes out as frustration. And you see this a lot with coworkers.
Yes.
When they can't handle the stress that they used to handle, they're taking it out on coworkers. They're getting angry and irritable with coworkers not doing what they think they should be doing. With spouses, that's a big one. When they feel like the tasks are not evenly distributed and they are getting overwhelmed. And so those are some of the different signs, like I said, physical, emotional, social, and then spiritual. I also notice a lot of people start to doubt their faith. They start to doubt why they're here, what their purpose is. Things they used to believe, they're saying, I don't believe that anymore. And they will start to walk away from the faith. And what I see happening when people who used to believe start to walk away from the faith because of burnout, now they have this level of emptiness that kicks in. And when that emptiness kicks in, it kind of leads to this downward spiral of, now what?
Absolutely. This is so interesting. And I am so curious to know more, because I just had a client recently who exactly experienced the same thing you just discussed, was losing interest in their faith, felt very disconnected from God. And she was feeling very empty and not having a purpose. Now, how do you distinguish between the depression, where someone may need medication or may need something a little more heavier to alleviate those symptoms, as opposed to this burnout where they're just in this lifestyle that's kind of putting them on the hamster wheel?
That's an excellent question. And the biggest thing that we need to do when it comes to differentiating between the two is we need to understand why the person is experiencing that. We need to understand what started this, where it's coming from. So kind of getting that diagnostic evaluation, if you're coming from a clinical perspective, or if you're just coming from a compassionate perspective of understanding what's going on with that individual. What is leading to these thoughts of depression? What is leading to this isolation? What is leading to what's going on in their mental and emotional well-being? And also looking at their daily habits. What are they doing in their day-to-day life? And what is contributing to those activities? Why are they, if they're isolating, why are they isolating? And if they're just moving through life, how come they're doing that as well. So it's really about being curious about the why and the what. Why is it happening and what is happening?
That's fantastic. And you mentioned daily habits, which we're totally going to get to self-care. Definitely, we know that's important. But I am very curious to know, when we talk about burnout, are you seeing more career burnout or relationship burnout?
That's a very tricky topic because I feel like it's all around, because when burnout happens, it impacts all areas of your life.
That's
People
true.
who are burning out at work are having one or more problematic relationships. And I actually recently made a post about this with kind of trying to help people understand that burnout is not about the job. And a lot of people think, if I just change careers or if I just change jobs, everything will be fine. And everything is not going to be fine unless you change what was happening, what was causing the burnout. So it's really about the mindset. So if you change careers and you change your mindset and you're able to heal, yes, that was an excellent choice. But I've seen many people change careers, go in with the same exact mindset, and burn out yet again. And to circle back to your question with, does it impact their relationships? Absolutely. Again, if it's trickling out through all areas of their life, it's definitely going to impact almost all of their relationships, or at least the ones that are closest to them.
Absolutely. How do you, as a coach and psychologist, but how do you work with the clients in changing their mindset?
Understanding where they're coming from. Again, going back to that curiosity and being willing to ask the questions and being willing to be honest with yourself. I feel like a lot of times we're not genuinely honest with ourselves. We're so used to putting up a mask for other people that mask stays on for ourselves.
Yes.
So when we look at the mirror, we sometimes don't even see ourselves for us. We see ourselves as what we are projecting to other people. And so when I work with people on their mindset, what I first work on is, in order to work on your mindset, you need to figure out you. You need to take the mask off, look at yourself in the mirror, and be willing to say, why am I feeling this? Where is this coming from? And how can I get from where I'm at to where I want to go?
Do you see the clients receptive to that? Are they willing to look at themselves before going to external factors that are making them cause that way or making them feel that way?
I don't always start off with that.
That's like a later progression.
Because again, if you're burning out, we need to get you to stop burning out.
Yes.
So when individuals come to me and they're burning out and they're just saying, I'm kind of crispy, I'm burning out, I need some help. I give them
I like that.
I give them the tools and the support to be able to help them get out of burnout. That's not a time to be able to evaluate how you got there. It's like when you fell in a pit. If you're falling in a pit and you're stuck in this pit, it's not about the philosophical ideals of, why am I here? How did I get here? At that point, you're thinking, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And then we can figure out how did you get here in the first place. And so that's what I do first. I first help them get out by giving them different strategies and tips and tools to be able to reduce whatever those symptoms are. Usually it's, again, fatigue, help them with the fatigue, help them with relationships, help them with stress, help them with anxiety. Once we get those alleviated, then they're more receptive to say, okay, this fog has lifted. Now I have a little bit more clarity. Now I'm able to look at the why.
Plus, at that point, you have a good rapport with them.
Yes.
And now they're willing to, they trust you and they're
Yes.
like, okay.
Yes, we can't go right out the gate and say, so what's your problem?
Exactly.
I just met you, but take off the mask. We're going to see.
Yeah. So you're compassionate and caring. I love that. That's a great trait for a coach and psychologist to have. Well, I mean, this is such an important topic. Like I said, we're just seeing this so much. So a good segue would be early intervention. Mm-hmm. How important is early intervention when we're addressing burnout, both in your individual life and relationships?
Oh, super important. It's so important that we address it early on, but too many times we don't really see it until it becomes a problem. And I feel like that's all areas of life. We don't really notice that we need to actually take care of certain things until they're falling apart and until we're burning out. But it is so important to be able to work on things that we know are helpful. And what I say to individuals who are trying to look at preventative strategies, and you're thinking, well, I'm so overwhelmed with all of the different things that we're trying to do. How do I know what to pick? And I always recommend go back to the basics. Go back to the basics, which are things that you already know you should be doing. You know you should be sleeping.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting good quality sleep. You know you should be eating throughout the day. I don't know how many times I have to tell myself and even other professionals, did you eat lunch today? And so many people will tell me, no, I decided to work through lunch and I skipped lunch. And they don't realize that that food that we put in our body is actually fuel to move, fuel and energy to be able to help us be more productive. And if we're not putting things in to help us be more productive, we're not going to be doing a great job in whatever we do.
Absolutely. Have you seen a pretty dramatic increase in burnout since COVID?
Absolutely.
What do you think attributes to that?
Overwhelm. People feeling like they have to do so much and they have to do it all on their own and they all have to do it all right now. And I feel like the pressure that they put on themselves, either because they feel like other people are putting it on them or because of their own high achieving mindset that they feel like they need to do things, they're just doing way too much in a short amount of time. And I feel like that has just increased during COVID, especially when we say, you know, you can work from home. That's a great idea to work from home, but now you don't have the time to get dressed and to time to drive and the time to do all those transitional things. So now people are working even more because, you know, I can work in my pajamas, right? I can work, I can grab food from the fridge and then go back to work. So I feel like people are working more and not having those transitional times are actually making burnout worse.
And they don't have any social interaction.
No.
Zoom is not socializing with coworkers and going out and walking to the office and saying good morning and things like that. Even just a simple hello to another human being in person can change your day.
Absolutely.
So I cannot wait to hear about some self-care strategies I think we could all use, including myself. And what do you usually tell clients, like a daily habit or daily routine?
To be mindful that they need to be cared for. That's the biggest thing, is to be mindful that you need to be cared for. You're so busy caring for other people, whether it's your job or your family or your friends, that you need to remember that you need to be cared for. So all of those things that you're telling your friends and family, you need to do them too.
Absolutely.
You need to have your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, or for those who have 5 meals a day, you need to have those meals. You need to have time where you're getting up and stretching. You need to have time where you're exercising. You need to have time where you're staying silent and having those times of serenity where you can just calm your mind and calm your body and calm your spirit. You know, those times where you used to drive to and from work.
Yeah.
I actually miss that sometimes because it was so peaceful where you're just sitting still and you're just not doing so much.
And you can decompress.
Yeah. So having those times where you decompress. So doing the things that you know that are important to take care of you. So some other things that I really like doing are essential oils, making sure that my senses are being calm, because we can get overstimulated by different things in the environment, even just equipment or food or things that are in your office.
Absolutely.
A simple way to just decompress is to put on some essential oils. Making sure, again, like I said, you're exercising, you're eating, you're taking breaks. The biggest thing that I tell everybody is you need to schedule breaks. If you don't schedule breaks, you're probably not going to take a break.
How do you feel about social media? Because when people take a break,
that is not a break.
and they're typically scrolling. And I can't imagine, I know from my clients, it does not help them relax. It even heightens the stress, and then they have to go back to work.
Yes. Social media is not a break. Your mind is going 100 miles an hour, especially if you're scrolling. Your eyes are scrolling quickly, your brain is scrolling quickly, your heart is usually racing. I rarely hear anybody say that they scroll through social media and they feel a sense of calmness and peace rush over them.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
I've never.
And that's the whole purpose of a break. A break is to be able to calm your nervous system, calm your mind, calm everything about yourself, to be able to help you transition. It's like refueling, a refueling break. And social media just doesn't do that.
Do you feel that having like a morning routine, especially, I have 2 little ones, and my husband's a firefighter, so when he's gone 24 hours. So do you feel having a morning routine from 5 to 5:30 or something really early in the morning before everyone wakes up to do meditation or have that peace before all the chaos starts?
Absolutely. Even if you don't have a routine, even if you have time to yourself before everything starts, that's super important. Even if you have, like you said, 30 minutes to yourself, and if you don't do the same thing every single day, that's okay. But the only thing that remains consistent is you have the 30 minutes to yourself, where today, I might meditate, or today I might read and journal, or today I might go outside and look at the stars or watch the sunrise, where you're having that moment to yourself and being able to decompress before the day. It really helps set up the day.
Absolutely. What are some of your favorite things that you do? And what about your husband?
So some of the things that I enjoy doing, I enjoy stretching. Are you talking about morning routine or throughout the
Anything.
day?
Anything that helps you avoid burnout.
Oh, yes. So some of the things that I really enjoy doing are, like I said, I schedule my breaks, because if I don't schedule a break, I will work through it and say, oh, I didn't have time for a break. So I have to schedule a break, and I will even put alarms on my phone to say your break's in 5 minutes. So wrap up whatever you're doing, your break. I love Epsom salt baths.
Oh, those are
with
nice.
essential oils.
Yes.
I also like blending essential oils throughout the house. So even when I'm walking around the house, it smells nice. I actually really enjoy cooking and cooking new recipes. And so I actually use cooking as my mindfulness activity, where I'll lay out all of the different ingredients, I'll smell them, I'll taste them. I try to use all my senses during that activity.
I love it.
And then I will try to present it. I know I'm not a personal chef, but I find that fun, to be able to find the right place, the right utensils, and then just place it exactly like if it were in a restaurant.
And you're being present. The fact that you said you smell it, you pick it up, you're actually being present in that moment. Like when we tell people, stop and smell the roses. Well, if you go for a walk and you pick up a flower, spend time with that flower. Look at, like, I don't know if you ever listen to Eckhart Tolle, one of my faves. He's a huge supporter of just being in the present moment, because in that present moment, you're not stressed.
Yes.
Because you're not thinking about the past, the future. You're just in that moment. And it's so hard for all of us to just stay in that moment.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's the key to mindfulness. Whenever you hear the word mindfulness, I see so many people get a little tense and frustrated or scared, because they think mindfulness means I have to sit in silence for 30 minutes every day and do nothing. And you can start to see them almost shake.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, like, I can't handle this.
Yes.
I can't handle this. I don't know what to do. It's not possible for me to just sit there and do absolutely nothing. And what I tell them is, you don't. And not everybody can do that, and that's okay. The point of mindfulness is to, like you said, be fully present in the moment with whatever you're doing. So if you're going for a walk, be fully present in the walk. Look at the sky, look at the animals, smell the nature. Take a break and, like you said, smell the roses. Do something. I can't tell you how many times I see people walking, looking at their phones, and I'm thinking,
I was just going to say that.
You are not enjoying this moment. You are ruining this moment. And if you have your phone on loud volume, you're ruining it for everybody else, because we're trying to take in the nature, and I can only hear sports, or I can only hear somebody yelling or somebody talking, because you're just, again, scrolling through social media. And
It's rude.
just want to, it's super rude, and you're ruining my peace. And so I have to just gently walk away and say, this is my moment to be present. It's not my fault if you're not being present, but I need to be present for myself. And so taking those moments, whether you're cooking, whether you're relaxing in a bath, whether you're taking a walk, exercising, reading a book.
What does your husband like to do?
What does my husband like to do? So my husband likes to play video games. That is his absolute favorite thing to do. He'll play video games and he'll be fully engulfed in those video games.
Very present in those
Very
moments.
present, yeah. He also likes to exercise.
Okay, good.
He'll be very present with the exercise. And then, what is he else? Oh, we like games.
Okay. Oh,
we also like playing board games together.
That's the best.
That's another thing that we do to decompress and relax.
That's awesome.
Get a little competitive with each other, but again, it's all in good fun because,
I love it.
We're both an equal match. So sometimes I win, sometimes he wins, and it's all good because there's nobody that's just winning all the time, which is not very fun.
Well, we're almost getting ready to wrap up, but I really, really want to know what advice you have for saying, this is a big one, no, without feeling guilty, especially in a relationship, to save yourself from overextending your schedule. How do you say no without feeling guilty?
Yes, and the simplest answer is being clear on your why. Being clear on why you are saying no and why it's important to say no for that specific thing. Because if you're clear on why you're saying no, you understand why it's so important.
Yes.
And so if you can't go to, let's say, a gathering because all of the people are toxic or they're unhelpful or they're rude or they're disrespectful and you don't want to go, that's an excellent way. I don't feel comfortable with that because of X, Y, and Z. So no, I do not want to go. And in other kind of relationships, if they want you to do something that, again, you're not comfortable with, understanding why you're not comfortable with it. Because if you understand why you're not comfortable with it and you express why you're not comfortable with it, the other person, if they respect you and if they love you and care for you, they're not going to make you do it.
Absolutely.
They're not going to force you to do something that you don't want to do. And if they do, they're not helpful.
Absolutely.
That's a whole nother topic that we need to run from that person or do something to get away from that person, because if they don't respect your no, then they don't respect you.
That's right.
And that's, again, a whole nother topic.
That's right. Well, as we wrap up, what do you recommend? Like, when should someone consider seeking the help of a mental health professional for burnout? If they're really noticing it's impacting their life, their job, like everything in their life, when should they seek help?
When, again, it's starting to impact your day-to-day life. You're starting to feel anxious. You're starting to withdraw from your relationships. You're starting to notice, if you take a moment right now and think, am I enjoying what I'm doing? Am I enjoying the relationships that I have the same way that I used to? And even if it's gone downhill a little bit, that's when it's time to go see somebody else to be able to help get that support to be able to move forward. Because if you're starting to go downhill and you're noticing it now, more often than not, you don't have that same level of energy and motivation to push you to that next level. So even if you meet with somebody for a couple of sessions, you just need somebody to be able to help you get that perspective, get those tools, get that support that you need to pick you back up and kind of help you navigate to where you need to go.
Yeah, and that's an unbiased third party, not, someone who knows you and you were just completely sounding boards.
Correct. So that basic idea of if you're not feeling the same that you used to and you start to notice it go down, that's the starting point to say, I need help right now.
Beautiful. Dr. Brenna Squires, you are phenomenal. What a wonderful, wonderful topic. Burnout is just increasing daily here. So how can people reach you? We will put your information on our Instagram page as well, but how can they reach you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram or YouTube. It's at Dr. Brenna Squires. So DrBrennaSquires. Or you can find me on my website, and it's the same thing, drbrennaSquires.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you're listening, thank you so much. I hope you have some takeaways and you take care of yourself. Join us next week for another episode of the Just Help Out Mindset podcast.